Everybody, welcome to That CBD Show. Normally Christy Burkhead does the introduction, but she's not with us today. But
I'm not Christy Burkhead.
No, but we do have Dr. Joe Kunzer in the house today, which is fantastic. So
Great to be here.
Yeah, welcome coming in from Indiana.
Thank you.
Landed here yesterday and with us here today in Florida. We're going to talk a little bit about what you've been up to this past weekend and some of the events. Before I do, I just wanted to give a shout out. We had a fantastic meeting on Tuesday, Christy and I did, and that was here in Florida. And I wanted to thank the Florida Assisted Living Association for hosting this meeting event on Tuesday. And I also wanted to thank Michael Blackburn of Senior Living Resource Magazine, who invited us to speak at this event. So it was a tremendous event. There was about 45 or 50 or so participants there, and they were learning all about CBD. So we were breaking down what hemp is, hemp versus cannabis, and really bringing some attention to that, and kind of then breaking down how this hemp plant fits into food supply, and then really moving into CBD itself and what that means and what a quality product is. And we answered a lot of questions there. So it was just a really cool event. So we have a lot of follow-up information to work with people. But today we wanted to spend a little time with you, Joe. And you were in Indianapolis this past weekend, and you came off of an amazing weekend.
Amazing event.
With an amazing company. And there's a lot of industry-changing announcements that came out of Indianapolis in the world of CBD. And really, these are specifically coming from the Zilis company and the Zilis family, who is an industry leader and a vanguard in this space. And so I really wanted to kind of, hear from you. What were some of the highlights of these events? There were structured events, organized events that were taking place where you had speakers, you had new announcements about the industry itself, and also what this powerhouse company Zilis is up to in the CBD space and what they're doing both now and preparing for in the future. So maybe it's just...
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, on a personal level as a doctor, one of the things that I loved and was really excited about was that the Hemp Authority, we finally received our U.S. Hemp Authority logo, seal of approval. And a lot of people were wondering why we hadn't received that earlier. But the truth is that we were waiting because we are the first company to have received that seal, not only on an oral product, but on a topical product. And we were just waiting to do both at the same time. So that was a surprise and a very big deal. So our Ultracell topical is the first and right now the only topical CBD product that has the U.S. hemp seal on it, which was fantastic. That was great news.
And the hemp seal coming from the Hemp Foundation,
yes,
which is
the
also
Hemp Roundtable,
the Hemp Roundtable. Which, for those of you out there that don't know what that is really okay. So CBD is now, we're opening up with the Farm Bill. Now states are passing their rules and legalities around it, which is all opening up hemp and hemp-derived products. So now, who's going to bring organization to that, and who's been working with the legislative body? Well, that's been the U.S. Hemp Roundtable, and coming out of that is this U.S. Hemp Round Seal. So this is the upper echelon of those that are saying, when you get this stamp, this is the highest quality, and we put our mark and seal of approval on that.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Right?
Absolutely, and it's a big deal because, as in past shows, I know you've talked. There's just a lot of inferior products out there that. As I said when I was fortunate enough to be on the show a month or so ago, after studying CBD oils, some that don't even have CBD in them.
Right. So
how do we know what's good? So this is a very big deal, and the seal is a very big deal for our company, Zilis.
Yeah. So Penn Medical did a study where they found that 70% of the CBDs that are on the market online and sold are mislabeled.
Yes.
70%.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah, and then when you're talking about hemp quality, I mean, we want quality in our food, but the hemp product, the hemp plant is a superfood. It's packed with so many nutrients, it's absorbing everything from the ground. So you need to be even more careful about where the stuff is grown and what's going into it. So to have that seal of approval is something that now, because we got a question at this meeting too, and some people ask, well, what do I look for? Well, that's one of those things that we can say that's what you look for. Does it have that seal of approval?
Right. So that was a big deal. The other thing that I really loved is, as far as just this company, was the launching of our Ultracell Raw. Which is which I absolutely love.
Yeah.
And
well, tell us about the Raw, because we have these industry-leading, hemp.
Exactly. Our product right now has 2 flavors. It is lemon and it is berry. And a lot of people think, well, this may just be a new flavor, raw, but it's more than that, because although we're all natural, so we use no artificial flavoring or coloring or additives, what we have is natural. So our lemon is natural lemon flavor from lemon, natural berry flavor from the berry, but raw has no natural flavoring whatsoever except the natural flavoring from the hemp plant. So you get that very flowery taste to it. But what's awesome about this as well is that we have the Ultracell Topical, which we just talked about, which we have received that seal for, is phenomenal for skin conditions, such as anything from people have used it for skin issues, eczema, different types of cuts and stuff. But the reason why there's an issue when it comes to the cuts is because it'll burn. So what I love about the Raw is you can actually use this Raw right over any type of sore or an open wound, and it will not sting, and it's phenomenal for just relieving any type of symptom, including expediting the process of healing, which we had several people talk about. So so the fact that the Raw can be that has nothing, because we have purists. The other big thing about that is there are a lot of people, that I didn't realize this, that are actually allergic to stevia. Now, stevia is an all-natural sugar, so it's really a natural sugar. However, there are people that are allergic to it, so there is no stevia in this as either. So I actually have several people who are now looking forward to taking this because they are allergic to stevia. So the fact that there's no stevia in it, and it's able to be used on wounds, just gives it a different avenue to use this product as opposed to the lemon or the berry. So
I was hearing from Dr. Matt Andrew talking about the terpenes. The terpenes are a big part of the just the entire experience and the impact that they make on the brain. So with this product, it's not that the berry or lemon are lacking. It's just that with this Raw, you get a little bit more experience or exposure to the terpene side.
Exactly. The terpenes, they exist in there's the equal amount of terpenes in the berry and the lemon, but you don't smell them. Terpenes, for those of you listening, terpenes are what give. If you're familiar with essential oils, it's what gives an essential oil its smell, and so. It's what gives a rose its smell. And in the case of the lemon and berry, because the hemp terpenes are subdued just because of the natural flavoring of the lemon and the berry, this Raw really brings out the terpenes. And you're right, there's a lot of healing property in those terpenes when you can smell them. And that's what this allows you to do. And you haven't been able to try it yet. And shame on me for not bringing it, because I absolutely love it.
I cannot wait to try this.
I love it.
This is right up my alley. I mean, break it down. Simpler is better. I'm a minimalist.
Well, and to your point, we have a lot of people who are like, we really want something that is just bare bones. Give me something that absorbs as well as our Ultracell lemon and berry, but give it to me. And again, it was funny because Stephen, our CEO, as they were discussing what to name it, they were going to name it, Naked, or and they said, well, what it is this is the CBD hemp in Raw. It's a perfect name for a perfect product.
I thought about sugar in the Raw when I heard it.
Sugar in the Raw, yes. So, but this is really going to. I think it's going to be an amazing product.
I think it just opens up so many more avenues for this when you talk about being able to drop this into cosmetics and put it into not that you can't put the other in a smoothie. You can just do a little bit more with this. And
you brought up a great point there. Being able to put it in cosmetics. We have a lot of women who are actually mixing it with their makeups and adding it to it and using it with their for their face and
And there's receptors at the skin level.
Oh,
we talked
absolutely.
about this.
Yeah.
So you've got CB receptors at the skin level, so you're going to get that impact, then you can take the product and get it internally.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is going to be fun. I'm excited for you to try it. But so we launched that product as well. So
what it tells me is like vertical integration. I mean, so we're like breaking it down to the bare bones, which leads into all this vertical integration that this company's just
on the forefront of
steamrolling towards.
Right, and that's one of the things I love about this company. Not only their drive to produce quality, amazing products that affect this endocannabinoid system, which our listeners are very well aware of because we've spoken about it in the past. Yeah. But also as a company, what I'm excited about is they really want to protect themselves from anything that can stop that train that you were talking about that's really moving forward and driving, fast. So. Stephen actually talked about how we're going to make sure the hemp fields are ours. We're going to have the seeds will be our seeds. Nobody will be able to get our hemp seeds, so that we can have the best hemp on the market. So what we have here will be absolutely nobody will be able to duplicate the power that we have in Ultracell from many different levels. And he even spoke from a business perspective of how you're protecting yourself from, because there's still a lot of funny things that are happening out there. You and I were talking off the air about how several weeks ago Visa refused to take any Visa cards for any hemp product or any CBD oil product in the U.S. Because for some reason they were kind of freaked out about it. Yet the Farm Bill clearly makes it clear that hemp and hemp-derived products from industrial hemp are legal in all 50 states. So with that,
still with that ambiguity, somebody else can just decide. Well, we're not sure, so we don't want to.
And so let's take the decision making out of their hands and keep it in ours. And that's what I love. What Stephen is doing. He's making sure that the decision making is in our hands and not somebody else's. Which is great.
Farm to fork, basically. Which, if you're going to control quality, you're going to really need to have yourself involved in every aspect along the way. So just with seeds, I even think about what the future could be and where this organization is taking this, is that there could be different types of seeds for different types of purposes then at that point. And we're talking about non-GMO types of seeds and that types of controls. We go there, and the impact for the farmers and all that's going to happen in the hemp industry, and that's just
it's exciting. Cool. It's exciting. And on a smaller note, what I'm also excited about is that we have gotten to the point now where, as you and I were talking about a little earlier as well, that if you place an order in our company by 12, it's out in the afternoon. So no longer waiting 6, 7, 10 days for your product to get it quickly. People want it, they need it, and they want to get it quickly. And so that's also. So I love the changes and the direction that Stephen is taking Zilis, because it's clearly keeping us the #1 selling CBD oil in the country. And it's going to allow us to continue to grow the company. In the future here. So. And
Stephen Thompson being the CEO of Zilis, what's your? I know I've been around this man, and I can't say enough words about him. But your viewpoint on his leadership and his ability to see the future in this industry and where
he is probably the hardest working CEO I have ever met in my life.
Person.
Most people, he's an amazing man, and I love Stephen because we're both music freaks, but he, most people will burn the candle at both ends, and Stephen burns it at all 3 ends. And but yet still having amazing time for his wife and his children, but he is probably one of the hardest working men I've ever been. And it's an honor and a privilege to be part of his dream. And his dream is to make a dent in the universe. So I love that. If you're going to be part of something, be part of something that is bigger than yourself. And that's why I look at Zilis as this is something bigger than us and bigger than itself.
I think he put a stake in something, and when you do something and may have a big vision, it creates a vortex, and you start to bring things around it. And so I never forget, and none of us forget, what he started this organization for. Its original mission was to pay it forward and to help others. And we've been able to be a part of programs such as Vitamin Angels and nutrition packs for children in Haiti. And now there's so much work being done for veterans because this product itself is changing lives. It's not a fad. It works with the endocannabinoid system in the body. It works with our body to bring balance. And when it does that, it brings physical balance, and it can bring mental balance as well. And that is a big impact for our veterans in the community. So there's a lot of things that we're doing in that space.
And to piggyback on that, one of the other great announcements that our company made this weekend was teaming up with an organization out of South Dakota, strictly for veterans that are struggling with PTSD, depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, those types of things. And Stephen was proud, and we're proud to be part of announcing that there's an organization out there called, it was Mountain, the...
well, go ahead.
I said, it's not Summit Mountain, it's... I'm drawing a blank here.
It's okay, but the organization...
where we bring veterans there, where they heal there.
Yeah.
Every veteran gets our product. And
Sacred Mountain.
Sacred Mountain, yes, thank you. Sacred Mountain with Jared Givens, and who runs an amazing organization out there. So these veterans come in. They come in for about a week at a time, and they get everything from time with the. It's amazing, the healing. We saw some videos of just them with their horses, and massages and working out and just being able to talk with other like-minded men and women who know what they've gone through, because I think that's the hardest thing when you're a vet, is that if you're not talking to somebody who understands who's been there, the point's kind of mute. So but teaming up with Sacred Mountain, and actually what I loved, Stephen announced that it's not going to be called Sacred Mountain anymore, it's going to be called Zilis Sacred Mountain. So so that's a big deal. The love that this company has for its vets will continue to be seen as time goes on. It's already seen now. Yeah. And this is just another piece of the puzzle that of Stephen's vision. How do we help those who've helped us?
And there's so much more coming with the support for veterans. I know there's so many more things on the radar that can be done. And with Stephen too, just kind of going back to Stephen in general, and then actually bringing in the U.S. Hemp Roundtable and Jonathan Miller. I've got a picture up there, Stephen and Angie with Congressman Burgess.
Yeah, that's
and that's just a representation of the Zilis organization and this leadership, what they have been doing at the federal level. And at the state level, as we speak. There's bills on governor's desks as we speak.
Texas, several states.
That are clarifying all of this confusion around CBD. And I don't know that people understand this organization that we're talking about here, their impact in writing that legislation and being a part of clarifying, closing the doors with legislators who are saying, we don't want this drug on the streets, opening the doors and them coming out saying, we need to get hemp out there for our farmers. We need to get this hemp-derived CBD out to people. This is theirs. It's their right. It's natural. It's not harmful. People aren't overdosing. It's not giving psychotropic effects. It has nothing to do with that. It's been confused and been embedded, and let's clarify that and open this up to the world.
One of the reasons why I'm passionate about not only this company, this product, is because I love the education side of that, which is what it is. When people know, then they understand. Yeah. If you don't know, you can't understand. It's hard to understand. Yeah. And again, something that's been around for, hemp has been around for thousands of years. But even in this country, to realize that Park Davis and Lilly and Pfizer all had CBD products back in the late 1800s, 1900s, just goes to show you that they knew what we had. Yeah. We knew the power of the CBD. Yeah. They might have not understood it back then as to why it worked like we do today.
You couldn't do some
but
of the
now
research.
We know.
Yeah. And now we can do a whole lot more research. Now the floodgates.
Now that the floodgates are open, we can research it because again, putting hemp with marijuana, which was a mistake, you couldn't get grants, you couldn't do studies, you couldn't do anything. So this is a very exciting time for our product and Zilis as well. Yeah. Because we're on the forefront. I mean, that's what I love. I always say, look, you can lead or you can follow. Yeah. I prefer leading. And Zilis, with the CEO, Stephen Thompson, we lead.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. When I was talking on Tuesday one thing that's kind of morphing in the conversations that I'm having with people is to educate and get them that understanding of the hemp and the difference in that, but then start thinking about this from a food supply basis. Start thinking about how our food supply has changed over the last decades. The quality of our food, the quality of what's being fed to the animals that then are going into the food supply. And really, instead of looking at this hemp-derived CBD product from a medical aspect necessarily, just think about it from a supplemental basis as a plant that was a part of our food supply that got really taken out of it. And it's very enriched, super food enriched with these phytocannabinoids that work with our system and supplement and are supposed to be there, and they're just not. So just think about it. If you go to the grocery and you buy the higher quality food, you're going to put that into your body, you're going to get better results. You're going to get a better product. And that's, to me, that's more so what we're talking about here than necessarily.
Your car's not going to run if you put kerosene in it. So it's and you and I, we've had many discussions on, we do not make food in our country anymore for quality. We're making it for quantity. Because we want to, it's going to be interesting to see the future of hemp and how what they decide, what we use that for as far as just, there's. You talk about a product that's so
we're just at the beginning.
Yes, and for somebody who's just been introduced to hemp less than 2 years ago, it's unbelievable where it's come, where it was and where it is today. And I'm interested. I'm excited to see where it is tomorrow. And now we talked about one thing about Zilis is that it's a science company first, and it's an endocannabinoid system supplemental development company second, and then the CBD really comes in third. Because what they're looking at is how can we take this Mother Nature, combine science to it, and then power pack that together and deliver it to the consumer. And that brings me back to bioavailability, which always comes up. We always like to sort of point that out, that these unrefined oils just aren't necessarily absorbed in the body. So how to get that better into your system and get that value and get that impact is by being a science company and taking proprietary knowledge and proprietary processes and applying it to these phytocannabinoids so that they get into the body at the reverse of that. Instead of it being absorbed at say 6% of what your standard oils are out there, you're more in the 94% range. It's complete opposite. Makes all the difference in the world. And as a doctor, and doctors will tell you, and I've said it before, I'm not interested in what you take, I'm interested in what you absorb. I've taken x-rays of patients and you can see undigested vitamins in their stomach. So it's not about what you take, it's about what you absorb, and that's why this particular product just, again, is head and tails above anything. There's nothing that can compete with us right now. Right.
Now, do you have any other highlights from this past weekend? I know I was on a call where I listened to Dr. Jolie Jarboe. We've had her on the show as well, and she was just super excited for the animal community, for the new raw product as well.
She just because of the raw flavor as opposed to a berry or lemon, animals are enjoying it more. It's easier to disperse to your animals because it's raw. But unfortunately, she wasn't able to be there on this particular weekend. But I know she's excited about the product. She continues to do studies and research as far as our product with the animals. And I know that, again, she's loving this raw, as well as using it on wounds for animals, because it doesn't sting your dog or cat or even large animals. So because there's no, it doesn't have some of the other essential oils in it like our topical does. It's a lot easier to use on wounds without causing any irritation. So,
Okay, great. So was there any other kind of notes that came out of that?
As far as the weekend was concerned, again, just an amazing weekend.
And great people. And how about the leadership in the organization? Just overall, we have the medical advisory boards, and and there are, just
there's just no other company that's really set up and structured like this, and that's been done so well. And one of the things that really that I was really impressed with too was the growth of this company is just been unbelievable. And during we love to recognize the people who are just changing other people's lives. And one of the big things that I took away from was just how many more leaders we are having and we are producing as they get up on stage and join Stephen up there. It was one of my almost, especially seeing that friends and colleagues that have gotten involved because they trusted you to get involved in this company, get up on stage. It was one of the more even emotional parts of the weekend, just seeing leaders born from, because they are passionate about what this company is doing.
Yeah, the opportunity.
And then taking it and wanting to take it to the world.
Yeah,
so
it's just unbelievable, the opportunity to change your future, change your grandchildren's
children's
future with this industry. I mean, we've quoted it. Brightfield Group is projecting this to be a $22 billion industry in 4 years.
And I've read 23.
Yeah, and I think the number's just going to go. Yeah. It's just going to go north, and so people have a chance to get healthy with the product. And when you find this and you discover this, how can you not share it with somebody else?
Yeah.
How can you not?
You can't. And that's one of the reasons why I think it's growing so so quickly, because it works. And I'm not making a claim here. I'm just saying that the research has shown, for example, fibromyalgia is now classified as an endocannabinoid deficiency.
Yeah.
So if you're deficient in endocannabinoids, and cannabinoids, guess what?
Yeah.
Take a full spectrum hemp oil and see how you do. It's been amazing. As a doctor, again, I can talk a little bit because I've read the research, and it's not even what I've read and what I've heard, but it's what I have seen that is making a difference. And knowing that we have a product that is second to none helps.
Yeah. Well, I am so glad that you had an amazing weekend.
Yeah.
I am so glad that we are a part of this organization, Zilis. I am thrilled with this launch of this raw product, this really grassroots product addition, to what we have in our product line. The boosters, the leadership of this organization, this industry, what is taking place with people and their health naturally. And Dr. Joe, it's always a pleasure, to have you on the show. And
thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, look forward to having you again. And thanks for sharing these highlights coming out from Indianapolis. And then we've got some big events through the year.
I think we need to get John to do this live.
Okay. All right.
If John, maybe we could fly him down and drag him to Texas with us.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.